This is the Atlantic Soccer Media Group, bringing you UPSL soccer coverage.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to Riverdale, Georgia. Atlantic Soccer Media Group is proud to bring you more UPSL Georgia Division I action. Today we've got Clayton International FC taking on Atlanta City FC, and it's right here, and it's next. Welcome back, everyone. We are live from Southern Crescent Stadium here in Riverdale, Georgia. UPSL Division I Conference here in the state of Georgia as Atlanta City FC take on Clayton International FC. My name is Drew Dickinson alongside Larry Weaver. We will have Clayton International going from right to left in their red tops and Atlanta City FC going from left to right in their all-white kits. The referees are checking the goals, making their final preparations, and we're going to get kicked off here really soon. If you're just now joining us, our earlier broadcast in the Premier Division, FC Birmingham coming from the state of Alabama to take on Seas United, unfortunately ended in a forfeit as Seas could not fill an entire squad. You needed 9. Seas had 8. Birmingham solidified that third place finish here in the UPSL Georgia Premier Division. They will host Vinotinto Atlanta next week in the playoffs. Larry, quite an exciting week we have next week as the playoffs begin in the Premier Division.
Yes, the Premier Division is getting wild and crazy, getting ready to go into the playoffs, and so is the Division I when we talk about both the East and the West regions. When we look here, we're in the East region right now. Currently, as it stands, Clayton International in the top seat. They are tied with Kalanji Pro Profile U23 in that top spot with 15 points.
And we are underway for the first 45 here in Riverdale, Georgia. Clayton International start off on the strong foot as they're coming down the left side. There's Rafael Martinez, who drops it back to Robert Artiaga. Dispossessed in the midfield, in possession now Atlanta City. Brian Mejia, captain, pushes it into the middle. Bounces off Jorge Cisnero. Cisnero loses possession. Atlanta City back in possession on the right side. They push it into the middle. They decide to reset. Mejia dumps it out to Ramirez. Ramirez being pressured by Artiaga.
This should be a good matchup, Drew. The last meeting for these two teams earlier, just a few weeks ago, Atlanta City U20 came out 2-1 victors.
Atlanta City trying to push down the left side, but nice defensive recovery by Clayton International. Tried to play a slick little flick there. Referee saw something before. It's going to be a foul on Atlanta City. Free kick for Clayton. Both teams still trying to feel each other out. Clayton in possession over on the right side of the pitch. Christian Lozano dumps it up to the front. Cross comes in. Just didn't get enough hips around it. It's going to be a goal kick for Atlanta City. Just a couple of minutes into this matchup. Both teams still feeling each other out. No big chances created. Midfield playing very well so far for both teams. You know, Larry, it's nice to see goal kick opportunity here for Atlanta City. And look at those wing backs. Look at the wingers.
Yeah, you like to see those teams using the width of that pitch. And this being a very, very wide pitch here at Southern Crescent Stadium. And like I said, Clayton International with 15 points. Atlanta City U20 not that far off with 11 points. They are currently tied in 5th spot with Atlanta Rovers reserve team.
Lots of time and lots of space in the midfield for Jorge Cisnero. Cisnero dumps it out to the right side for Brian Alonso. Alonso's got one red shirt in front of him. He pulls it to the inside. Saw a through ball attempt there, but he decided against it. Ball's pushed out to the left. A lot of quick passes here for Atlanta City.
And you got to know, Drew, that here in the UPSL Georgia Division I, that top team is going to find themselves promoted to the Premier Division for the spring season.
Glenn Rodriguez tried to do a flick over the top of Abdul Bukhari, but Bukhari was able to get a foot on it, drop it back to the goalkeeper, Eduardo Gomez. Atlanta City maintained possession. Clayton International not making it easy as they have the ball over right in the center of the field, knocked out by Atlanta City. Throw in for Clayton. Clayton throw the ball right down the line. Mattia Moran wins a throw-in for his team. Clayton on the throw once more. Number 25, Rafael Martinez for Clayton International is wide open out here on the left side. Maybe he can look at his teammates, see if they can't find some space for him over here on the left side. I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing, Larry, but he's got about 15, 20 yards on each side of him. Let's see if they look for him. Ball's back in play. Clayton FC won a handball, and they get it. It's going to be a free kick about 25 yards out on the right corner of the 18 for Clayton International FC. 4 minutes in, first real opportunity for either team. Let's see what kind of free kick Clayton go with. Looks like it'll be a left foot, so it's going to be an in-swinger. He's going to try and bend it near post. Bukhari comes from his center back spot to join in the fray here. Two-man wall. The kick is away, off the wall. Bouncing at the top of the 18, cleared away by Atlanta City. Brian Alonso was able to get a clearance on it. Ball's bouncing in midfield, 50-50 ball won by Clayton. Atlanta City able to pick up the pieces there in the midfield. Two red jerseys swarm Brian Alonso, so Clayton win back possession as they push it up the left side. Rafael Martinez, but he is offside as the AR on the far side of the pitch puts his flag up. Free kick for Atlanta City. Coaches disagree, as they tend to do. Free kick will be taken by Juan Pablo Giraldo for Atlanta City, and he puts it right down the line, trying to find Alonso.
And remember, Drew, Clayton International, they are still using their backup keeper, their starting keeper, Clint Lothrop, injured a few weeks ago with a hamstring injury in that loss. I believe it was the loss with Atlanta City, that U20 match, that 2-1 loss, if memory serves. So he's still recovering from that injury.
Captain for Atlanta City FC, Brian Mejia, was fouled right about 30 yards away from the goal line. So if they try for a long distance shot, they're going to have to put some mustard on it. As Juan Pablo Giraldo comes from his right back spot, and he looks to be the one that's going to take this free kick. Actually, I'm sorry, that is not Juan Pablo. He is in the box. Three-man wall for Clayton. Goalkeeper trusts his wall. The near post is wide open, and he opts for a shot. Didn't get anything behind it. Did Glenn Rodriguez. Glenn's going to want that one back, as it was an easy save for goalkeeper Eduardo Gomez. He walks up to the top of the 18, gets a big, beautiful punt, mind you, on the right side. Ball won in the air by Atlanta City. Lots of red shirts swarm, but Atlanta City able to maintain possession. But Clayton's right back there to win possession. But Atlanta City working a little bit harder than Clayton right now. They want to win those 50-50 balls as Giraldo tries to find a streaking Brian Alonso down the right side. Just couldn't keep it in bounds. It's going to be a throw-in for Clayton.
Drew, you see Clayton already trying to go to their go-to man, number 5, Bohang. They like to see that ball, when it comes to attack, to go through his feet.
I like to see more east and west movement from number 5 here for Clayton International. It looks like every time a midfielder maintains possession for Clayton, number 5, who you just mentioned, Larry, looks up and runs directly away. So you'd hope to think that Clayton wants to steer clear of the long ball. You haven't seen it yet, which is very promising. So let's see if they can create some space and find a little bit more movement for their strikers. Nice punt again.
Especially with
Gomez.
The potential to link up with Ortega, number 21. We'll see if Clayton can really get it going in that.
Mejia finds Alonso out on the right side, but he's immediately dispossessed by Bukhari. And Atlanta City are trying to pin Clayton back in their own defensive third here. Let's see if it works. See how it works out. Big clearance from Clayton. There it is, Larry. They're looking for him. A nice defensive recovery there by Juan Pablo Giraldo. Dump it back to the goalkeeper, Freddie Sanchez. Freddie clears it over to the left side. Nice flick, unable to maintain possession. Clayton International win it back.
But that was a nice, even that ball was going to Bohang, but you saw that hard press move forward by Ortega, putting the pressure on the keeper for Atlanta City U20.
Throw-ins right down the line for Bohang. Tries to flick it over the defender. Unsuccessful. Jadakiss Siberian put on some nice pressure. It's going to be a throw-in deep in the third of the defense for Atlanta City. Square throw-in. Siberian throws it in, and the ball's played back to the goalkeeper.
And that's one of the real positive
Atlanta
players.
City give the ball away right in the midfield. Sorry, Larry. It was just very, very good opportunity there for Clayton as they weren't able to capitalize. Continue with what you were saying, partner.
I was going to say, one of the positive players that we've seen in the coverage that we've had for Atlanta City is Siberian.
Yep.
He's been a great defender for Atlanta City.
Another chance here through the middle for Atlanta City, but nice defending as Bukhari lays it back to the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper finds the feet of Bukhari, and Bukhari tries to clear it up the left side, but he's going to knock it out for a throw-in for the visitors.
Both of these two teams coming off positive results last week. Atlanta City with a tie, 2-2 with TCSA. Clayton International with that beautiful 1-0 victory against FC Atlanta Academy that we covered.
Yep. Atlanta City in possession over on the left side. Siberian. Sloppy touch there, uncharacteristically for him. Throw in Clayton. Throw-in's quickly taken. And drop it back. Guillermo Fernandez copy. Loses possession. Atlanta City trying to make something happen down their left side. Knock it off Clayton. It's going to be a throw-in right at half field for the visiting squad. Mejia loses possession. Referee blows the whistle. It's going to be a foul once again on the captain for Atlanta City.
There, Drew. You know, this is the first real match where the teams are not only battling each other, but they're battling the elements, as we're at 46 degrees and winds of 7 miles an hour. It's not usual down here in the south for these cooler temperatures.
No, I couldn't have said it better myself. And with that wind, you know, it feels probably going to feel in the high 30s.
And that wind is coming from far side to near side, so it's coming directly across the field.
Yeah, we had to close up our windows here in the press box because it was just too windy. As a goal kick is about to take place for Clayton. Eduardo Gomez going to get a big goal kick right up the middle of the pitch. 50-50 ball, one in the air by Atlanta City, headed right back to the feet of Guillermo Fernandez Copy, who plays it out to the right side. And they found some space in behind Atlanta City. It's either going to be looks like it's going to be a goal kick. No, referee calls for a corner. Corner for Clayton.
And it's good to see number 26, Fernandez, in the match. He took a pretty nasty little knock in that last match against FC Atlanta Academy. Good to see that he's doing okay.
Corner kick. It's going to be taken by Christian Lozano. It's going to be a left foot in swinger. Ball's played in right at the 6. Headed away by Atlanta City. Looks like it's going to be a trip inside the box. Penalty kick, Clayton. 12 minutes in, Atlanta City trip the Clayton FC player inside the box. And we're going to have a penalty kick and a chance for Clayton FC to go up 1-0 here in the 12th minute.
Let's take a look at that, Drew. You see here on the replay, it's going to be a nice ball sent into the middle of the box. Tried to clear it out, and the defender just barreled over the Clayton player. It's going to be a penalty.
Robert Artiaga is going to take this penalty kick for Clayton to put them up 1-0. Artiaga sends the keeper the wrong way and puts Clayton on the board in the 13th minute. It's 1-0 here in Riverdale, Georgia.
Just a textbook take there on the penalty spot. Arteaga sending the keeper the wrong way. We'll take another look at it. Lines up. Sends the keeper the wrong way. Nothing crazy about that. 1-0.
That foul was committed by Glenn Rodriguez for Atlanta City to force the penalty kick. Atlanta City going to reset here in the back. Referee sees a foul, plays possession. Atlanta City have some space in behind Clayton, but they just couldn't keep it in bounds. It's going to be a throw-in for the home team. I like seeing vocal coaching. You don't really see much of that in the Premier Division or here in Division 1. A lot of coaches very hungry. They want to win. You love seeing the winning attitude. You got a lot of coaches, Larry, who come and like to sit on the bench. They have different sort of philosophies. But for me, I like seeing coaches up and at them, barking at their players. They see what we don't see. So it's very entertaining for me to see the players and the coaches conversing during the games.
And it's also one of those things where you come in with a game plan, and then when your guys are not executing that game plan, it's got to be frustrating. You know, each coach has a little bit different philosophy. You know, when we look at the Premier Division, you look at a coach like Coach Goldfarb with FC Birmingham. He usually spends the majority of the time sitting on the bench and not really vocal, not really gets loud in any way, unless there's something that is really egregious on his guys. But then you have a team like say a Seas United, where you have a Coach Largy who's just constantly barking at the players.
Yeah,
it really depends.
Coach Silva from Atlanta United.
Yes.
And for his duties, unfortunately, he was the recipient of a red card 2 weeks ago, so he's going to be excited to get back on the sideline for the playoffs next week. I know. Atlanta United, champions of the Premier Division, they'll receive a bye.
Yes, they'll have a week off and enjoy that time to rest up a little bit. Coach Silva will be back for that match. They'll get to host.
Are they hosting Georgia FC? Or they're going to host the winner?
They'll host the lower seed of that first round.
Cleared away by Sanchez, right back to the feet of Clayton. Dispossessed by Atlanta City, but Clayton win it right back. Both teams able to string a lot of passes together before they are dispossessed. But Clayton dispossessed in midfield. Here come Atlanta City. They're going to try and steal one back. Coming on the left side, Atlanta City. Brahan Mejia, dispossessed, throw in for Atlanta City. Deep in the territory of Clayton International FC, who are going to try and keep Atlanta City off the board. They want to maintain that comfortable 1-0 lead. We're in the 16th minute. Riverdale, Georgia, Southern Crescent Stadium, UPSL Division I action.
And, you know, and I was just talking about him just a few minutes ago, taking another knock, number 26, Fernandez, for Clayton International.
He stayed down for a minute, didn't he, Larry?
He was feeling that one, especially with those colder temperatures.
Ramirez plays it into the back post. Siberian running in, gets ahead, but it goes straight to the hands of the goalkeeper, Eduardo Gomez. But it will be out of bounds, says the AR down here on the near side. Goal kick.
We're not lucky enough to have those brand new ball technologies that they're going to have at the World Cup, but you could see that one had gone out for a goal kick.
Another goal kick put right up the center of the pitch. 50-50 ball, one in the air by Atlanta City. Glenn Rodriguez heads it down, headed away by Bukhari. Both teams.
Good attack from Atlanta City right now.
They've got the upper hand. Ball is in possession right now of Clayton. Out on their right side. Heavy touch. Atlanta City able to get possession back. But here come Clayton. Dispossessed Siberian. Right at half field. Through ball looking for Bojang.
Just a little too strong in that through ball.
Sanchez able to come off his line and get a big clearance for Atlanta City. Ramirez drops it back to Juan Pablo Giraldo. Referee didn't like what he saw. Free kick, Atlanta City. Right in front of the Clayton bench. Juan Pablo Giraldo will take this free kick down on the right side. Mejia checks back. Plays it right back to Giraldo, who puts an instep pass right up the right side. Looking for Alonso. Abdul Bukhari able to maintain great defensive position, but it's going to be a foul on Bukhari right on the goal line. So it'll be a free kick right outside the 18 for Atlanta City. They're down one, so you know they're going to try and make something happen here. We are in the 18th minute.
We'll take a look at that really quick if we can. You see Bukhari just right there. He says no, but you always say no as the defender, right?
Yes. Free kick will be taken by number 9, Glenn Rodriguez. He's got Brian Alonso to his left. Rodriguez goes to the top of the 18. Volley attempt. Looking for Juan Pablo Giraldo, who made a run to the top of the 18, but cleared away by Clayton. But Atlanta City immediately win possession back. But Clayton's able to get a big clearance on it. Jadakiss Siberian plays it out to the right side for Atlanta City. Nice playing here. Just an unfortunate touch there by Luis Ramirez, allowing Bukhari to get a foot on and clear it up the left side. Robert Arteaga, the penalty kick scorer here for Clayton, able to knock it off Atlanta City. Throw in for Clayton right in front of the Atlanta bench. Throw in taken right down the end line. Looking for Bo Yang, but cleared away by Juan Pablo Giraldo. Right back to the feet of Clayton. We try and play a ball out to the right side, but they are immediately dispossessed by Atlanta City. Mejia plays a through ball looking for Siberian. He cuts it back on the inside. He's got some space in front of him, but too many red shirts. And Clayton are able to get a foot on and clear it up back to the right side.
Good team defending there by Clayton International.
Through big switch attempt by Clayton, unsuccessful. That's going to go out right in front of their own bench. Throw in will be taken by Kevin Ramirez for Atlanta City. Drops it back to Juan Pablo Giraldo. Giraldo's got some time and space. He plays it back to the goalkeeper, Freddie Sanchez. Sanchez finds the feet of Giraldo once again. And Clayton are starting to form a little bit of a press here, Larry. Going to try and pin Atlanta back in their own defense. Nice touch to keep it in bounds by Alonso, who finds Glenn Rodriguez. Rodriguez does a nice little spin, maintains possession. Tried to put it in the center, but just couldn't get the correct foot on it as Clayton are able to clear it away. And he is in behind the defense. If he is onside, he's got the goalkeeper to beat.
He was just about half a body length offside there, Drew.
And I like that decision there by Clayton. They haven't gone for it all game, trying to catch Atlanta City on their heels, and they did. It was just a bit too heavy as Bojang was in behind the defense, but great officiating as he was able to put the flag up just in time.
When you saw Arteaga, when he received the ball, he looked up, and it was just a second delay of sending that ball forward.
Nice little press here by the home team, forcing a throw in.
And Drew, this is only one of two matches that's going on in the East region of Division I today. Right now, FC Atlanta Academy is taking on the Atlanta Rovers reserves. Yesterday, Middle Georgia United fell to TCSA 4-3. On the west side, there's only one more match that's going to start here at 7 o'clock. Potros Black is going to be taking on Lamino Georgia's D1 team. And I'll give you some of those scores in a little bit later.
Switch attempt looking for Rodriguez. Bukhari is there, but Rodriguez is going to win it back. He's got Bukhari and the goalkeeper, but the goalkeeper, Eduardo Gomez, able to get a left foot clearance, but it goes right back to the feet of Atlanta City captain Brian Mejia, who was immediately dispossessed by Bukhari, and Mejia able to come in, get a foot on it, knock it out. It'll be a Clayton throw in right in front of the Atlanta bench once again. 22 minutes in. Clayton
Good press
International
from
FC.
both teams, Drew.
Yeah, and it's really starting in the last 2 or 3 minutes, especially for Clayton International. It's really starting to open things up for them. You know, we say it all the time, and shout out to our broadcast colleague back home, John Reno, who notices it a lot. Once these teams start to press, it changes everything.
Yes, because then you can't think about those passes. It has to be instinctual. And you see a few of these players, you know, when it's time to use the instincts. We saw it yesterday with the Los Tigres, the strongest. There were times where the player knew what they needed to do, but they were hesitant.
Yep.
And it's that hesitancy that is what your opponent is looking for.
Exactly. You hesitate just that 1 second. Is that 1 second too long? Arteaga in possession. Foul on Atlanta City. Free kick for Clayton. Free kick's going to be right in front of their bench. Both teams really starting to pick up the action here in the last, I'd say, 5 to 7 minutes. It's become really exciting. You know, you think, oh, Division I, it's not the Premier Division, you know, not good soccer. I beg to differ. Both these teams really came to play today. As the coach for Clayton International FC receives a yellow card for dissent.
You saw the fourth official and the AR go over and talk to the center ref, Horatio Oliveira, let him know about whatever that dissent was said.
I'd like to give a shout out to Horatio because he called one hell of a game last night. Crucial matchup in the Premier Division. Club the strongest. Unfortunate that they didn't come out on top. Looking for that final playoff spot. Atlanta Rovers bested them 4-0 yesterday. So,
and like I said, that Los Tigres, they just looked like they were declawed a few weeks back, and they just did not have any attack in them against Atlanta United's academy, and then yesterday against Atlanta Rovers.
Absolutely. And the Rovers are going to go into the playoffs with some momentum themselves, as did Georgia FC. And the header at the back post. Did it go over the line? The center referee and the AR look to determine whether or not it did. They both agree, and Clayton takes a 2-0 lead in the 25th minute.
Well, Drew, let's take a look at that and see if we can see if it did or didn't go over the line. We see this ball sent in. Headed down. Can't tell. I really can't tell.
Rafael Martinez is the goal scorer. He knew it as soon as the ball went in. He turned and cheered. 2-0 Clayton International FC. We are 25 minutes in, and we've got a heck of a game. Don't let the scoreboard fool you. Atlanta City have had some golden opportunities. They just haven't been able to capitalize. Clayton International.
And like I said, just a few weeks ago, Clayton lost at Atlanta City U20s 2-1. So they can put it on Clayton. They're just getting those final third passes is where they're just having some trouble right now.
It's got to clean up their in-game a little bit because arguably they're dominating the game box to box right now, Larry. Just haven't quite figured out what to do when they get inside the 18. And that's growing pains. That's youth. That's getting to know your teammates.
And that's one of the troubles that they've had at Atlanta City with having the U17s, the U20s, and the Premier team. You just have a lot of players doing a lot of work, and there's some growing pains there.
Yeah.
And they'll reset up, they'll get re-energized, refocused, and they'll be back in the spring.
Throw in taken right down the line. Dispossessed. Atlanta City back in possession. Luis Ramirez. Alonso with the dummy attempt, trying to get to the feet of Glenn Rodriguez. Read all the way by Clayton. As Juan Pablo Giraldo dumps it back to Freddie Sanchez. Sanchez takes a touch, puts it right through the middle, finds Kevin Ramirez. Ramirez turns, beats one man, plays it out to the left side. Lots of red shirts swarm the white jerseys when they maintain possession. Forced to drop it back. Juan Pablo Giraldo turns, takes a touch, plays it out to the right side, looking for Glenn. Glenn able to get a nice little touch on it, finds Brian Alonso. Alonso still in possession for Atlanta City, finds Siberian. Atlanta City, nice passing, but what's the payoff? You can have 15 passes in your own half of the field, but when you get into the opposing half, you lose possession almost every time.
Yeah, if it continues to happen, you get more and more frustrated because
then you start forcing balls, Larry.
Exactly, and that's where it happened last night for Los Tigres. They started trying to force the ball, and then that's when everything went wrong for them. But you have to give credit there just a little bit ago for the keeper for Atlanta City. He was being hard pressed by two Clayton strikers. He didn't get out of control. Just a nice pass forward and got himself out of that danger zone.
Nice hesitation there by Abdul Bukhari. Hesitated to go back to the keeper. Spun himself. Put it right back to the feet of Atlanta City. And Atlanta City just won a throw-in.
Seeing some nice attack. Some Atlanta City, yes, they know that they're down 2. It's only 29 minutes into the match. There's still a lot of match left to go. They know they still have an opportunity to get back in this.
Throw-in's going to be taken by Kevin Ramirez. Cleared away by Clayton. Looking for Bojang. He's able to get ahead on it. But it goes right back down to the feet of Atlanta City. Heavy touch by Atlanta City. But Jonathan Valverde able to catch up to it. Plays it out to the right side, but the ball's going to go out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in on the far side of the pitch for Clayton. As Larry said, we're in the 29th minute. Clayton International FC hold a 2-0 lead over Atlanta City FC. We had a penalty kick in the first 15 minutes. And about 5 minutes ago, we had a ball played into the back post. Controversial call, questionable call. Did it go over the line? Did it not? The referee said it did, and it made it 2-0, Clayton International. Let's see how Atlanta City bounced back. They seem to have no fear. They seem to stay and remain confident. So I see a goal in their future, Larry.
Easily. You can easily see a goal in this first half. You know, we still have about 15 minutes to go, plus whatever stoppage time Horatio puts on. So it's easily they could go into the half 2-1. Because we're seeing a good attack from both sides. They just need to clean up this final third.
Glenn Rodriguez on the far side of the pitch. Plays it over in the middle. He's got two white shirts. Head on goal. But the referee puts a flag up for offside. Eduardo Gomez made the save. Yeah.
That was good play. The only thing I would say was that header just needed a little bit more power. It was just more just of a directional than an actual power-based shot.
Jorge Cisnero would disagree. He would say that he jumped as high as he could.
Exactly.
Long ball attempt again, looking for Glenn Rodriguez. Can he get in behind the speedy Bukhari? Bukhari able to just maintain a good enough defensive position to force Glenn to kick it out of bounds right over the goal line. It'll be a goal kick for Clayton International.
You know, that would be the only thing I would say about Bukhari is sometimes he has a tendency to rely on his speed a little too much, and he'll sometimes get himself out of position defensively, and he gets lucky and he's able to use his speed to help him out. I'd like to see a little bit more technique.
Yeah, just a little bit more composure. Look up, no force play. But it's good. It's been a good battle so far this evening between Glenn Rodriguez and Abdul Bukhari.
I say Bukhari kind of reminds me a little bit of Bailly, where he has a tendency to move forward a little bit farther than he should.
Knocked off Atlanta. Throw in for Clayton.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Capi plays it back to Bojang. Nice defense by Jadakiss out there on the left side of the pitch. And he is going to force a foul. It will be a free kick for Atlanta City inside their own 18. Eric Bailly enjoying time at Marseille. If he can stay healthy, I don't care what anybody says, he's one of the best center backs in the world. Argue with somebody else.
Here's another yellow. This yellow is for dissent for Ciberon because of that. He wanted a card to be issued for the foul that was committed on him and
earned one himself for dissent.
And ended up getting him one himself for dissent because
I get it. Frustration. It was. I remember the last game we called for this Atlanta City U20 squad. Ciberon played right in front of us in the second half and just dominated that left back position, Larry.
And he's got the talent.
Sanchez decides to keep it in bounds, picks it up, runs up to the top of the 18, rolls it out to the left side to Valverde. Valverde beats one man, diving in Matia Moran. And dispossessed of the midfield are Atlanta City. Here come the home team. Bojang. Nice defense by Siberian. Brady Sanchez.
So he gets a yellow card there, and then just comes back and does a pitch perfect defensive play.
Makes up for his mistake. Guillermo Fernandez Capi dumps it over the middle, looking for Bojang. And it could be a foul, but the referee says play on. Goalkeeper maintained possession. Nice save by Freddie Sanchez. Sanchez looking really good so far this evening. Very confident.
And I really feel like that second goal was conceded because the referee saw Sanchez go down onto his backside on the goal line, and he had the ball in his
Yeah. Difficult to see, though. It's unfortunate for Atlanta City because it could have well have not go the whole ball. If you're watching back home and you're unsure of the rule, the entire ball has to go over the goal line for it to count, and there's just no way to tell. So you have to take the official's word for it, and so be it. It is 2-0.
And Drew, you know it as a keeper. You know, you won't going home. You won't be thinking about the PK at all. You'll be thinking about that one.
Absolutely, especially if it didn't go over. You're gonna feel for Freddie. But Atlanta City can't have any excuses. Arguably have dominated this entire game. Just need to figure out a way to find the back of the net as they are able to.
That'll be a throw for Clayton.
Can Atlanta City pin Clayton back in their own half? Mejia trying to make some magic happen. Mejia back in possession, captain for Atlanta City. Tried another acrobatic move, just was dispossessed, but wins the ball right back. Atlanta City fighting right before halftime to put one on the board, and shot by Glenn Rodriguez. He didn't get what he wanted. He put it right at Eduardo Gomez. Easy save for the Clayton goalkeeper as they are still up 2-0. Got about 10 minutes to go plus stoppage here in the first half. We are live on the Atlantic Soccer Media Group YouTube channel as Clayton International FC welcome Atlanta City FC. UPSL Division I contest here in the state of Georgia as the third goal looks to be on the board, but nice defensive play by Atlanta City to keep Dodu Bojang off the board. And the score remains 2-0. Foul in the midfield on Atlanta City. Free kick for Clayton. Foul was committed by number 21, Jorge Cisnero. Free kick will be taken by number 28, Denny Jarrett Garcia for Clayton. Right over half field. Ball's played back in. They push it over to the right side. Lots of space. Cleared away by Atlanta City, but right back in possession are the home team. Defended by Jadakiss. Push it right past him. Clayton International put it in the middle, but nobody's there. Tried to find Bojang, but it goes right over the face of the goal, and they're fighting and battling in that corner. And it looks like Atlanta City will win that battle. It will be a goal kick for the visiting squad. Sanchez is going to place the ball down on the right side of the 6-yard box.
And Drew, you know I like to give you stats. When it comes to Clayton International season so far, of their points scored, they have more wins away than they do at home. They only have 2 wins at home. They have 4 wins away.
Lucky bounce for Cisnero, but he is fouled. Free kick for Atlanta City, and it's going to be the third caution of the evening. Yellow card will be given to Denny Jarrett Garcia, defensive midfielder for Clayton International. Glenn Rodriguez will take this free kick for the visiting squad.
And that's what I love about the referee, Oliveira. Very firm, very fair. It's very down the line. Both teams have to
Consistent.
come out knowing that, you know, the game was called.
Rodriguez dumps it. Ball lands right at the top of the 18. Cleared away by Clayton. Roberto Artiega. Penalty kick score here in the first half. Tries to find Rafael Martinez, but it's just a bit too heavy. It'll be a throw-in for Atlanta right in front of that Clayton bench. Kevin Ramirez throws it square to the captain, Brian Mejia. Mejia defended by Bojang. Bojang wins possession. Strips him right in the midfield. Referee says play on. Dodu wanted a foul. Horatio disagrees, explains it, and tells him to keep playing. Mejia in possession for Atlanta. Switch, looking for a streaking Brian Alonso. AR says offside. Free kick for the home team. Nice run by the number 10 for Atlanta City. He saw some space in behind Bukhari. Tried for it. Nice ball. Just a bit too heavy. Offside. You like to see more of that. They haven't made any of those long balls here the entire first half. And just a few steps offside could have resulted in a goal for Atlanta City, Larry.
Well, that's the one thing that I'm just enjoying right here is the fact that we're not seeing those long balls exclusively in this match. You're seeing two teams working together with their attack down the field, good passing between the players, getting those opportunities.
It's just nice structure. You can tell that both teams really put the philosophy of each coach to test during training. Because like you said, arguably the last month, we've called plenty of games in the Division I and the Premier Division, and it seems a lot of these teams just get extremely comfortable with just playing the long ball down the middle. C's, club the strongest. And, believe it or not, Birmingham likes to do it every once in a while.
There was a couple matches where Birmingham got – and a lot of times it happens when you have a team that goes down early and is trying to force their way back into the match. And it's just – and, like I said yesterday, for those new teams that are coming into the league, because we do have a few, we've got Legends, we've got Uma, we've got Volpe, we've got a few others that are in the works. Don't consider the long ball as your friend, as a positive result.
My partner and I aren't sitting here trying to say that the long ball doesn't work and the long ball isn't effective, because done the right way, it is one of the easiest goal-scoring opportunities that you can create. But when you continuously do it every time you look up, every time you're in possession, I say this ad nauseum, you're just being able to be read like a book.
Yes, I mean, you can still use it, but use it very sparingly.
Yes, exactly.
Because once you continually work and build up the play throughout the field, when you do go to a long ball, it catches the players off guard.
Shot on goal attempt, Atlanta City, and it just goes over the bar. Goal kick for the home team.
You want to use that long ball sparingly to catch your opponent off guard. You don't want to rely on it for everything.
Yeah, you want to play the long ball when you look up and see your striker or a midfielder or a winger making a streaking run. You want to play the long ball when you see space, or you know that the forward can find space in behind the defense. You don't want to play a long ball just because.
Exactly. I mean, if you happen to catch a keeper out of his space, or you catch a defense that's a little lacking, sure.
But the chances of that happening every time you're in possession are very slim to none. And it's just a breath of fresh air to see both of these teams tonight playing the way their coaches demand and playing a type of soccer that's enjoyable.
And both teams pressing really well.
Yeah, the press is very exciting for sure. As Roberto Arteaga, he wants another goal. He does a back heel to Rafael Martinez, who puts it at the back post. Can they keep it in bounds? No, they're not able to keep it in bounds, Clayton, and it'll be a goal kick for Atlanta City. And we'd like to mention, like we said before, this is Division I, but I've seen a lot of Premier games this season that haven't been able to live up to the potential that this match has had so far. Don't let the score, and Glenn Rodriguez is going to be just offside if it was able to make it to him, but Bukhari was able to get a foot on and clear it. It's going to be a foul right at half field. The referee says play on.
And like I said, whoever ends up at the top of the table in the Division I are going to find themselves promoted into the Premier Division.
And that's the top team there, or the top two teams?
It'll be the top team. The way that it's set up this season, you're going to see the top team from the East and the top team from the West that are going to find themselves into the Premier Division. And you got to remember that just because you did good in Division I, you're going to another level when you go to the Premier Division.
Yeah, it's a completely different beast.
You look at Los Tigres, for example. Los Tigres just were on fire when they were in the Division I, and they just haven't found the right solution in the 2 seasons that they've been in the Premier Division as they find themselves yet again out of the playoffs.
Glenn Rodriguez in possession on the right side for Atlanta City, bringing the ball inside the 18. He's got 2 red shirts in front of him. Nice defense by Clayton International SC to dispossess Glenn Rodriguez inside the 18. And a long ball attempt looking for Dodu Bojang. Unsuccessful, as it was read all the way by the center backs for Atlanta City. And it was one of those situations to where it was a run. Bojang was making a run from the right side to the left corner, and they just weren't able to find him. Pablo Giraldo clears it up. Finds the feet of his number 10, Brian Alonso. Defended by Bukhari. Nice ball by Alonso. Can Rodriguez get to it? Not before. And he's able to keep it in bounds, but it looks like it's going to go off Clayton International. Yeah, it went off the heel of the defender of Clayton International FC. It'll be a corner kick right before halftime. A golden opportunity for Atlanta City to put one on the board, catch up Clayton on their heels, quickly taken corner, played in by Alonso. Cleared away by Clayton, though. Brian Mejia, captain, Atlanta City. Hospital ball. Clayton International FC hold a 2-0 lead over Atlanta City, but they are knocking on the doorstep, are the visitors. Juan Pablo Giraldo finds Jadakiss. Jadakiss turns, plays it out to the left for Valverde. Jadakiss in possession once again. Looks up. Fouled. Referee says play on. The referee does call the foul right there. And it's going to be a foul and a yellow card on Jorge Cisnero. It's going to be the 4th booking of the evening. Another one for Atlanta City. As time is ticking in the first half. It's going to be a free kick for Clayton. Goalkeeper Eduardo Gomez comes off his line to take this free kick. Put some back spin on it. Headed away by Juan Pablo Giraldo. Right to the feet of Glenn Rodriguez, who tries to put a long ball up the middle. Had a man up to the little on the left side, but red shirts were there, able to clear it away. Atlanta City in possession once more out on their left side. Nice passing here by the visiting squad. But even better defense by Clayton FC as they clear it out. Valverde heads it back in. Siberian. Played right to the feet of Abdul Bukhari, who clears it away. Juan Pablo Giraldo heads it right back in the midfield, finds the feet of his captain, Brian Mejia. He is dispossessed. And here come Clayton International. Just off the page there was Bojang and his right winger as they let it go right back to the feet of Atlanta City. And Atlanta City, if they want to score a goal before half, they got to make something happen now. We are right into stoppage time. Unsure of the amount, but the referee Horatio will let us know when that final whistle blows for halftime. Through ball attempt, unsuccessful. Ball still in play. Atlanta City running it down. And it's going to be tipped off the toes of Atlanta City. Corner kick for Clayton right at the halftime death. As the sun begins to set here in Atlanta and the temperature drops, can Atlanta City FC find a way to get themselves back into this game? As Clayton are in no rush to take this corner. We want to let the halftime whistle come sooner than later. Christian Lozano is going to take this left-footed corner. Lots of space inside the 18. Ball's played in, headed away to the back post. Put back in play by Clayton. Cleared away by Jadakiss, tipped off of Bojang. It'll be a goal kick for Atlanta City right at the end of the first half.
I have to say, Drew, it's been very entertaining.
Yes. Back and forth, both teams creating chances. Penalty kick goal in the first half here for Clayton, and a controversial goal for their second. They are being Clayton International. Did it go over the line? Did it not? We'll never know. But the referee says it did. So that's what we have to go by. As stoppage time still resumes here in the first half. Atlanta City have the ball on their left side, trying to make something happen before that whistle blows. Nice bit of skill by Atlanta City. They drop it all the way back to Freddie. Freddie Sanchez gets a big clearance, looking for Cisnero. Cisnero wants a foul. Garcia says, get up. Referee says the same, as Clayton are going to try and put a third on the board before the halftime whistle. Can Atlanta City stop them? And they do, as they are able to dispossess. And nice slide tackle there by Clayton's Christian Lozano, who pushes it out to the left side. Rafael Martinez. Nice move by Martinez. Martinez still in possession. He beats Kevin Ramirez. Puts it at the back post. He had Bojang wide open, but it just goes over his head, and the shot attempt is unsuccessful as it goes out for a goal kick. But the referee blows the whistle for the first half here in Clayton County, Georgia. Southern Crescent Stadium. Clayton International FC have a first half lead, 2-0. Very exciting game. Atlanta City had plenty of chances, just couldn't capitalize in the 18. As we're going to go into the break here, as Clayton International hold a 2-0 lead here at Southern Crescent Stadium. We're going to take a few-minute break, let both teams warm up. We're going to get cool ourselves here, folks. We'll be back right after this halftime break. Welcome back to Southern Crescent Stadium here in Riverdale, Georgia. Atlantic Soccer Media Group is going to bring you another lovely half of UPSL Georgia Division I soccer. Clayton International FC hold a 2-0 lead over Atlanta City U20s in the first half. Larry, Atlanta City, lots of opportunities. Just didn't really find any end game when they got inside the 18. Let's hope they regrouped at halftime, got a little warm, and are ready to come out and put some goals in the back of the net.
We saw positive play from both teams. You really can't even be upset with Atlanta City, even though they're down 2 points. You got to look at the fact that one of them was a penalty. The other one was kind of a very controversial call on the line. But there again, it was very positive from both sides. They both attacked really well. And now they have an opportunity, and let's see what they can do here in the second half.
The referee's counting to make sure there's 22 out on the pitch, and we're going to get underway here for some second half action live in Clayton County, Georgia at Southern Crescent Stadium. I am Drew Dickinson. He is Larry Weaver. First half was fun, cold. Second half's even colder, darker. This is going to be the final half of the UPSL Georgia Division I season. Remember, top team in each division will go play in the Premier Division next season. Who's it going to be? Looks like we had a substitution for Atlanta City, and we are underway for 45 more in the second half of action. Clayton International FC welcoming Atlanta City U20s. Atlanta City starting off early, but they are dispossessed by Clayton. Lots of white jerseys here coming up the middle of the pitch. Tried to play it out here on the left side looking for Luis Ramirez, but once again they are dispossessed by Clayton International FC. Coming up that right side are Clayton. Bojang plays it out to the left. Lots of space in front of him. Dispossessed once again are Clayton. Atlanta tried to play a long ball up the right side, but played it right back to the feet of Clayton International FC. Battling over on the left side of the pitch are both teams trying to maintain possession. Clayton International FC win that battle. Well, Atlanta City there once again to dispossess and regain possession. Jadikis Sabirion on the left side. Nice little move to knock it away from Bojang. But he's going to dribble himself into a little danger there as he finds the feet of Luis Ramirez. And they're going to look to reset. Valverde dumps it over to the right side for Juan Pablo Giraldo.
And Drew, like you were saying, when we talk about the Division I, one more match for the end of the season. Clayton International, they're going to have to take on Atlanta Rovers reserves.
That's my bad.
Which is going to be a solid match.
Another long ball attempt. Can Bojang catch up? He cannot as Freddie Sanchez steps off his line. Referee's going to blow the whistle. We're going to have an injury here for Clayton. Injuries are going to linger a little bit more due to the weather. And looks like it might be a knee or a muscle there. The referee is calling for some medical assistance.
And for Atlanta City U20, their last match is going to be against Kalanji Pro Profiles U23s. So neither of these teams are going to have an easy route at the end of this season.
You mentioned that in the first half. I don't know where my brain went.
That's fine. And, you know, one of the things that we can talk about when we talked about the playoffs in the Premier Division, starting in for those playoffs, we are going to be, gifted to have Stat Wellness to be our official training partner for all of the playoffs, and then they're going to be the training partner for both the Premier and the Division I matches here in the UPSL Georgia Conference for 2023. And you can see, yeah, that doesn't look good. No pressure putting on that ankle, whether it be the ankle or the knee.
Looks like it's going to be Christian Lozano being helped off the pitch right now. And like I said before, it's in the high 30s, low 40s, so any sort of cleat, to the ankle, any sort of little knock turns into a bigger knock because of how much it'll linger due to the weather.
Yeah, and when we're talking about promotions for Division One, just to kind of put a button on that, when we look at the West Side, the team that's going to be promoted is going to be Dalton United. Dalton had that fantastic match yesterday, beating North Georgia United 7-0. Dalton United has been just an unbelievable team coming into the Division One section of the UPSL Georgia Conference. They're easily going to win that West Side. It's this East Side where it's really up for grabs.
Samuel Ihanuwazi checks in for Clayton for the injured Christian Lozano.
As of right now, it looks like Clayton is going to find their way into the Premier Division for the spring season.
Christian Chavez loses possession, but Clayton able to get it back. But Atlanta City play a long ball down the right side. Nice bit of skill. Shot on goal for Atlanta City, and it just sails wide left. Nice shot attempt by the visiting squad. They're down 2-1. What a great opportunity to put one on the board and cut the lead in half. Just didn't get enough bend on it. He was trying to find that far post. Beautiful attempt.
That was a good opportunity. Let's take another look at that really quick. We can see as this ball just gets whipped into the box, this nice shot. Just a little over the bar. Tried to hit it with his left. Positive play. More positive play from Atlanta City.
It's one of those new hybrid winger things that's been going on here in European and American football. You have your dominant foot and you play on the opposite side. You can cut it back on the inside and have a shot on goal with your dominant foot. You see it all the time. Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, Christian Pulisic, very good at it. And they're going to try and adapt that here in the UPSL Division I Georgia Division. Almost put one in the back of the net, Larry.
Yeah, that was a really good attempt. I love to see if you're. I don't have any problems with you attempting as long as it's on frame or near frame.
Yep. It's
those ones when you're blasting it 20 yards over the goal that you're just like, why'd you try that, mate?
Juan Pablo Giraldo in possession for Atlanta City, but nice pressure by Clayton, trying to pin the visitors back in their own 18. Freddie Sanchez with a big left-footed clearance, tries to find Glenn Rodriguez. Rodriguez knocks it up in the air, but Clayton able to get a clearance on it. Rodriguez finds the ball back at his feet, tries to play the captain, David Mejia, but he plays it behind him. I'm sorry, Brian Mejia.
And, Drew, when we talk about the playoffs, the Premier Division is not the only side that's going to have playoffs. The Division I will also have a playoff structure. We'll be able to talk about that more soon once all of the pieces get put in place as the season is still going on. But that's not the only thing until the spring season. You've also got the Regional Cup here in Georgia for Premier. One team is going to move on to the Nationals. We see another substitute for Atlanta City. It looks like 14 is going to replace 9.
Glenn Rodriguez will get a break, an early break in the second half for Rodriguez.
And he had some really positive play. This may have been a timed substitute. We just don't know.
Go give me 5 hard minutes and we'll get you a breather. Mejia, captain, nice bit of skill. Finds Luis Ramirez. Ramirez just gets a heavy of a touch there and allows Clayton to get a foot in and win possession back. Fernandez copy. Through ball attempt. Trying to find Chavez, but nice defense by Valverde for Atlanta City to try and get a clearance on. Nice slide tackle by Brian Mejia. He thinks he knocks it off Clayton. Both officials disagree. It's going to be a throw-in for Clayton.
And that's one of those things I'm going to have to agree with the referees on that. They made the right call. He tried to deflect it, just didn't get it.
Headed away inside the 18. Bouncing in the 18. Clearance by Atlanta City as the ball was bouncing in the 18. Clayton had a golden opportunity, but Atlanta City wanted to clear it more. Knocked off Clayton. Throw in for Atlanta City on the opposite side of the pitch, almost at half field. Almost 10 minutes into the second half. The score remains the same. 2-0. Clayton International FC on top of Atlanta City. Cleared away by the goalkeeper, Freddie Sanchez, looking for Mejia. Mejia with a sloppy touch allows Clayton International to win possession. Denny Jarrett Garcia plays it up the left side, but right to the feet of Atlanta City. Juan Pablo Giraldo playing some stout defense over on the right side for Atlanta City. Kind of reminds me of Andreas Pereira, the way he looks, the way he plays, Larry.
Yeah, he just has that real knack there in the midfield.
It's that swagger that he has. Just a
Yes.
confident swagger. Here comes Luis Ramirez for Atlanta City down that left side. He's got one red shirt in front of him. Does a couple of step overs. Pulls it in the inside. Atlanta City looking to put one on the board. They go down inside the box, but the referee says play on. It looked like a clean shoulder-to-shoulder tackle. Beautiful positioning by Horacio Oliveira, the center official. No penalty, but still in possession are Atlanta City. They're going to try and knock on the doorstep once more. They're still down 2-0. They'd love to cut the lead in half with 35 minutes to play.
I'm going to have to also be on the side of Oliveira because you saw the player just kind of budge their way into that contact to try to get that penalty.
Heavy touch by Clayton. One back by Atlanta City. Lots of time and space on that right side. Nice move. Beats Bukhari. Plays it across the middle. Atlanta City have some numbers inside the 6. But Clayton International FC just had more and were able to get a clearance on it. It's going to go out of bounds right by the Clayton bench. Throw in for Atlanta City. They are really making some noise right now. Let's see if they can find the back of the net. Promotion on the line here in Division 1. Nice defense by Luis Ramirez to dispossessed Bojang. Ball's played to the far post. Just a bit too heavy once again. It's going to be a goal kick for Clayton. As things are starting to click for Atlanta City, they look to have the upper hand right now, and a goal looks just seconds, maybe minutes away.
You know, and it's one of those things where as a team that's up by 2 and you know that at this point you're just kind of parking the bus, you're defending, you're doing so in a very cold environment. And you got to remember to keep your wits about yourself because with the temperature going down, you have a tendency to kind of lose your thought, as we do sometimes here.
Yes. You know, just watching the beautiful game, and sometimes you just forget you got the microphone in your hand as you just start to watch the game. It's going to be a throw-in for Atlanta City.
And you can't be upset about this match
Oh,
because
free
it's
kick.
so enjoyable to watch.
It is. If the second half continues the way the first half played, then we're in for a treat. And so far, so good for us and everyone watching back home on the Atlantic Soccer Media Group YouTube channel. We'd like to thank you for sticking with us all season. Playoffs next week, and you better believe we'll be back better than ever in the spring season.
And the spring season is going to get even bigger and better for the UPSL Georgia Conference because you have the academy squad. There'll be a playoff in the academies as well this fall.
Academy will have their playoffs. Like you said, sometimes we get a little flustered up here and forget stuff.
But we've also got, you know, the academy will be in full form in the spring. You've got the Premier Division. There'll be a reserves for the Premier. Division 1. There's also going to be the women's division is finally going to launch here in the Georgia Conference.
I'm really excited about the women's division. I hope we have an opportunity to call some of those games. The female soccer activity in the state of Georgia alone is some of the best in the country. So I'm very excited to see what the ladies bring to the table next season.
Oh, and it's a division to where there's just not enough presence because there are so many unbelievable players, like you said. Loved for the opportunity for some of those ladies to get
seen.
Yeah, to get seen and to have the opportunity to get themselves their own professional. Going to be a push-off foul there right in front of the AR.
Yeah, silly foul by Siberian. And he's looking like, what do you mean?
Oh, no, and that's a yellow card. He's already received a yellow card.
This is his second of the game.
So this is going to be a red card for Siberian.
Jadakiss.
As soon as Oliveira sees it, knows it.
And, you know, Larry, what is that? The 10th red card in 3 weeks here in the UPSL Georgia division. We had 3.
And there it is.
There it
the red
is.
card.
There goes the red plastic, and Jadakiss Sibirion's night is done.
And his season is done since next week is the last match of the season. Not the way you want to end your season. You see the frustration. He kicks a ball out onto the field. He's going to end up an early day in the showers.
He's going to have to go sit down as Maron Mateo is at half field ready to check in. Looks like it's going to be a formation change for Atlanta City as they're down 2, so you would think they're going to try and bring in some offensive power, anything they can to try and cut this lead in half or even tie it. 2-man wall, free kick taken by Martinez, tries to go near post, deflects off the wall, a corner kick for Clayton as they are now playing a man up. We're in the 60th minute. They have a 2-0 lead over Atlanta City. Their right fullback, Jadakiss Sibirion, just received his second yellow, which is an automatic red. Atlanta City playing a man down. Although they have a substitution at the helm, we are unsure if that will be of any sort of advantage as the referee just throws a yellow to the coach of Atlanta City as plastic is just being tossed left and right this evening. Both teams frustrated. Atlanta City should be frustrated because they've had so many opportunities and they've just squandered them all away. And that's another blatant push. Foul on Clayton. Free kick for Atlanta City. It's the exact same thing that just happened on the right side, but just the opposite way.
Starting to get a little chippy out there.
Well, we have one of, if not the best official here in the UPSL Georgia Division I and Premier Division in Horacio Oliveira. He will not let it get out of control. He will maintain his authority on the pitch, and we've seen him do it already tonight with reds and yellow cards, Larry.
Yeah, you can expect here with this substitute for Atlanta City, probably expect them to go down to just one striker, two banks of 4.
Clog the midfield?
Yes.
You're down a man, but more importantly, you're down 2 goals. Get your composure. Get your heads on straight. Plenty of time left in this contest. As we've said it week in and week out, anything can happen here in the UPSL Georgia Premier or Division I.
And we talk about red cards. This is now the second match in a row that Clayton's opponent has received a red card. So it's just, you have to not lose your cool.
A lot of red cards in November already, Larry.
You know, there was a red moon. You know, does it coincide?
You know, I'm not too sure if I'm upset with you for that or if I agree with you for that.
I had to throw something in there.
Nice pressure here by the second half substitution for Clayton, not allowing Atlanta City to get out of their own half. Mejia plays the ball right to the feet of Clayton. Referee says play on. White shirts, red shirts. Let's see who can win this battle. Through ball attempt for Atlanta City.
You see, this is all Clayton needs to do right now. You're a man up. Just clog those passing lanes.
Yep. I'd drop an extra defender back, put him in the midfield, and, you know, we say it all the time, park that proverbial bus. Make it impossible for the team who has a man down, break you open.
This is where our favorite manager, Jose Mourinho, shines.
Oh, he invented the bus. Clayton able to find some space in behind the defense, but just unable to keep his feet. It's going to go out of bounds. Throw in for Atlanta City. They throw it really quick, square ball, but they're going to give it away in their own defensive third, put it right to the feet of Bojang, who himself has a sloppy touch and is dispossessed by Mateo. Second half substitution here for Atlanta City. Long shot attempt as Sanchez was off his line. Not a bad idea. Just didn't get it on target. Goal kick, Atlanta City. And I'd like to mention real quick, we were talking about the ladies coming into the fray here. They will begin in the spring. Just want to make sure we got that out there, that they will begin play next spring. So it's very, very exciting times here in the UPSL Georgia men and women's division. Goal kick taken by Sanchez. Right at half field. Won by Guillermo Fernandez. Copy. Won right back by Atlanta City, but given right back to Clayton. Copy plays it out to the right side. Clayton finds some space in behind Atlanta, but nice defensive recovery once again by Jonathan Valverde, who's played some stout defense tonight for Atlanta City. And every time I am out watching or calling an Atlanta City FC U20 game, Jonathan Valverde just owns the defense. He does not let anyone into his space, and he wants to make sure that everybody knows that each and every game. What a player. Wouldn't mind seeing him on the first team next season for Atlanta City.
Yes, you have to remember that in Division One, not only are you playing for your team, but you're also being watched by the other teams. And maybe you just, it doesn't work out for you with the team that you're on. Maybe you end up getting called up. You take a look at somebody in the Premier Division. You look at Akini James. He was with Seas United in 2020, fall 2020 season, wins the Golden Boot. Then he gets traded over to what was Atletico Atlanta, the winners of that fall 2020 season. Then plays
national
with them,
championship winners.
National champions.
Yes.
They ends up getting injured in that 2021 spring season. Now back to Seas. So there are chances where you get seen by a team. You find that little spark that they need to move on. You look at a team like Los Tigres, they really need a midfielder.
And, like you said, speaking of Seas and Akini James, there's no guarantees that Seas United will even be in the UPSL Georgia Premier Division next season. So, Larry, like you said, Los Tigres desperately need a facilitator. They desperately need a midfielder. But what about one of these Premier Division teams that may need another goal scorer? What if Luke Sexton doesn't come back for the Rovers? It could be an amazing pickup for Atlanta Rovers FC. So Akini James, be on the lookout for him. A very big, free agent for the UPSL Georgia Premier Division. It's going to be another foul and another yellow card, this time issued to Clayton International FC. It'll be a free kick for Atlanta in their own defensive third. And like I said before, if you're watching back home, it's in the high 30s, the temperature, and Brian Mejia is going to feel that knock for just a few more seconds than he usually would. Free kick Atlanta, quickly taken by Mateo. Geraldo gives it back to Mateo. Nice hesitation by Mateo, able to beat the defender.
But think about how many teams in the Premier Division could use just that one more defender to solidify that back line.
A lot of these a lot of these premier coaches need to keep an eye on some of these players, because I'll just keep building off what you just said. Imagine a Jonathan Valverde next to a Verdi Martina for FC Birmingham.
And now that you've got so many more teams that are coming in to the system.
Left foot shot. He does it again, Larry. He flies down that right side, cuts it back on the inside, trying to find the far post with his left foot. Unsuccessful again. Goal kick, Clayton International.
He just did not have his body in the right position at all for that shot. His feet way in front of his body when he tries to take a swipe at that and just sends it forward, kind of like he's doing a golf swing.
Yep. But he has been full force over on that right side here in the second half. Nobody's been able to stop him. Speaking of premier coaches players to keep an eye on, as Clayton International come down the left side, defended by Juan Pablo Geraldo. Geraldo's going to win possession as he dispossesses Rafael Martinez, and Martinez is going to get a knock right in the shin by the Geraldo cleat, and he's going to have to go down. Throw in for Clayton. Referee's going to check on the injured player. He's going to get back up onto his feet, shake that off. Clayton's going to throw it in. It'll be Rafael Martinez on the throw. Headed back to the goalkeeper Sanchez, who had a little bit of a pressure coming in towards him, but he's able to come off his line, scoop it up, and get a big punt. Beautiful punt. Not very high, but got a lot of distance. One-touch clearance by Clayton right back to the feet of Miron Mateo. Nice bit of skill here in the center of the pitch. Plays it out to the left for Luis Ramirez. Ramirez finds the feet of Mateo once again. Mateo goes back to Valverde. Valverde puts it across the middle to Juan Pablo Geraldo. Geraldo plays it right through the middle to Mejia. Nice turn by Mejia. Plays it out through ball to Luis Ramirez. This time it was successful. Ramirez has one man to beat. Does a few step overs. Loses possession. Gets back up. Ramirez still in possession. But Clayton are able to dominate, swarm the red jerseys, and dispossess the Atlanta City FC player. And the ball's going to go out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for Atlanta City. They wanted a foul. The referee disagreed. Luis Ramirez, a little bit dramatic.
Here comes another substitute for Atlanta City. They're going to make a defensive change. Number 19 is going to be coming on.
Throw in for City. Throw it square, right back to the feet of the thrower, Luis Ramirez. Nice move by Ramirez. Another hospital ball by Atlanta City allows Clayton International to win possession back once more. And they're coming up the right side. Defended by Valverde. Ball's played in the inside. Nice ball from Clayton, but Valverde able to be goal side and shield the man off the ball and allow Freddy Sanchez to come off his line and scoop it up. And he quickly punts it right up the middle of the pitch. 50-50 ball won by no one. Still bouncing. Atlanta win possession, but immediately cleared away by Abdul Bukhari. Mejia plays it out to the left side. Luis Ramirez. He's got one man to beat. Cuts it on the inside. Plays a square ball to Miran Mateo. Second half substitution. As he looks to be pulling the strings now for the midfield of Atlanta City. They play it out to the right side. Chests it down to his feet. He's got one man in front of him. Plays it back into the middle. Luis Ramirez. Ramirez has one man in front. Pulls it out to the right side. Decides to turn around, spin. Plays it back to Juan Pablo Geraldo. Geraldo has some time. Plays it out to the left side to a wide open Jonathan Valverde. Valverde plays it to Mejia. Nice Cruyff to cut it back on the inside from Mejia, who plays a long ball over to the right side. Cleared away by Clayton, but right back to the feet of Atlanta City. And the little magician over here on the right side of the pitch has some space. Plays it on the inside, but nice transition by the forward for Clayton to win the ball back and force a free kick for his squad.
And we have a substitute coming on for Clayton. That last substitute for Atlanta City replaced number 3, Kevin Ramirez.
Be a free kick for Clayton as the substitution sprints onto the pitch. And from the looks of it, it looks like he's coming on for the second half substitution that came on before him. So another injury, it looks like, for Clayton.
You can see just he's not stepping. He's stepping very gingerly.
Yep.
It looks like on that left foot.
Nice punt once again. Trying to find some space in behind Clayton. Freddy Sanchez is really bringing the leg tonight off of his punts and his goal kicks for Atlanta City. Atlanta City in possession, immediately dispossessed by Clayton right at half field. Throw in Clayton.
You know, Drew, for a squad, you know, you want to have a quality keeper. You want to have that player that's going to give you that good set piece, that nice ball into the box, whether it be from the corner or if it's coming out on the pitch, you know, some sort of a distance free kick. You also need that person that can do those long throws, those long quality throws. It's almost like another tactic in this new age of soccer.
Big clearance by Sanchez right off the head of Clayton, right down to the feet of Miran Mateo. Mateo tries to find Luis Ramirez, but Clayton able to get a foot in and win possession. They are right at half field, they being Clayton. Nice move there, putting Mateo on skates. Clayton International FC dribbling down the right side. Play the ball in the middle. Nice ball by Juan Pablo Geraldo once again playing some fantastic defense. Able to clear it away. Clayton able to win possession back, though. Scary moments for Atlanta City. They're down 2. You cannot go down 3 while you're down a man. Plenty of time left in this ball game. They got to figure out a way to put some goals in the back of the net. Juan Pablo Geraldo. Back to Mateo, who's got lots of space in front of him. Let's see what he decides to do. Nice ball by Miran Mateo. Can they keep it in bounds? Unfortunately, Luis Ramirez can't run it down. But that's what you like to see. Positive play. Attacking play, down 2, you know there?
And that was a long ball, but it wasn't something that they've done a lot. You've seen a lot of positive play, a lot of positive passing. Now, all of a sudden, let's do the long ball. Let's see if we can catch them off guard.
Yeah, and there was lots of space in behind the left winger here. So when you play the long ball into space, it's a lot easier. It gives your man a chance to run onto it. When you play a long ball and there's 10 yards between the back line of the defense and the goalkeeper, it's really hard to be able to find and create space.
Yes, because they haven't done it, which means that you have the Clayton defense. They're checking forward.
Yeah, they're not expecting it.
They're not expecting it. You catch them off guard. That's when we say it's okay.
Mira Mateo was in our starting lineup that we were given for the day, but he didn't start. He came in the second half, and you really start to question, why wasn't this kid playing a full 90? He has completely changed the entire midfield of Atlanta City. Mind you, they are a man down, so the midfield is completely wide open, but Mira Mateo isn't having any of it. He's playing fantastic as Clayton, a man up, have someone wide open at the back post. Great defense by Atlanta, trying to keep him off the board. Like I said before, a third goal would surely be the demise of Atlanta City tonight. Throw in for Clayton, right in the corner. Here comes one of those long throw-ins my partner just mentioned. Juan Pablo Geraldo able to get a head on it, puts it right back to the feet of Clayton. Clayton have two white shirts in front. Nice bit of skill, but Juan Pablo Geraldo was there to clean up the pieces dropped by his other defender. Wide open at the top of the 18 is Clayton, but Jonathan Valverde steps in and makes another brilliant defensive play to keep Clayton off the board, and it will be offside if the Clayton defender tries to go in for the attack, but Atlanta City are able to get possession and clear it away. Coming down that right side of the pitch are Atlanta City. Nice defense by Dodu Bojang. I apologize. That was Abdul Bukhari to force a throw-in for Atlanta City. And there's going to be another substitution for Atlanta City as they are pulling out all the stops here.
But just to go back to that, Drew, I mean, it's one of those wrinkles of the new style of soccer where, you know, if you have that player that can do the long throw, it forces the defense to not cheat up. Because you never know. I mean, I've seen guys to be able to throw it. I mean, it looks like a corner.
Yes. Yeah, throws it right onto the spot, the spot being the penalty spot. You know, I tell you what, I know we've said it a few times today, but Juan Pablo Geraldo and Jonathan Valverde, no disrespect to any of the other 20 players out on the pitch, but they shouldn't be playing Division I. These are some top skillful players, so let's hopefully for them, they might be able to find a way to play in the Premier Division next season.
Well, and that's what the positive for them when it comes to Atlanta City having a Premier Division squad. You know, some teams have the dual team. Now, we will see a difference starting next season in the spring. That second team is going to be in a reserve league instead of being in the Division One.
Okay.
That
So don't go by Atlanta City right into the arms of Eduardo Gomez.
Finally, Gomez has a little bit of work to do. He's been kind of back there just enjoying the cool nightlife.
I was just about to say, talk about someone who's probably miserably cold right now. Yes, goalkeepers can wear long sleeves, and yes, it is ethical for goalkeepers to wear pants. But when you're just standing there,
Yes.
I assure you it's a lot colder than you would think.
Well, it's just not like it was if you remember back when you used to goalkeep back in the 80s and the early 90s when you had those giant goalie shirts with the padding.
Big padded shirts, yeah.
on the elbows.
I picture Tony Miola in the 1994 Predator World Cup gear. Speaking of the World Cup, just a couple of weeks away. United States will kick off their World Cup action on the 21st against Wales. Then the big one, Friday, November 25th, Black Friday, USA versus England. Can't wait for that one, partner. I really can't.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Even though it's in the fall for the first time, it's a little. Here's another yellow.
Yep. And that was right.
It was a silly foul by the Clayton defender.
Goal scoring opportunity. Wasn't the last defender, so it was deemed a yellow. Good call by the official. He was right there to make it once again.
But just to go back to what we were just saying, great decision by the UPSL Georgia Conference deciding to restructure for the spring. So you're going to see the Division One is going to completely change now that you're going to have that reserve league that's going to be for those premier teams that are going to have a second team. Those guys that maybe they're just not ready to be on the premier team. Maybe they have a knock. Maybe they need a little bit more training before they're ready for that premier team. But then that allows the Division One to be legitimate teams that are working their way up into the premier division.
Really showcase why they are where they are. Brea Mejia puts the ball and he's got 2 shirts in, and Atlanta FC put one on the board. 78th minute. They cut the lead in half as they put the ball right across the middle, right on the top of the 6, and bury it home with a header at the back post.
What an absolute great free kick and great header on a mistake by the defender. Take a look at this header.
I mean, Larry, they had 2 white shirts wide open at the top of the 6. Check this out.
This ball comes in right to the back post, right into the center of the goal.
And
now
Larry,
it's on.
Did
2-1.
you see who the goal scorer was? It was none other than number 4, Jonathan Valverde. All of his heart, soul, and determination in his defensive role today paid off as he is able to cut the lead in half. And we have 10 minutes to go, plus stoppage in this Division I contest here in the UPSL Georgia.
And I believe that yellow card that Oliveira just issued, I believe that was for the Clayton player. And we have another substitute for Clayton getting ready. Clayton now, they need to park this bus because they need this win to almost solidify their position in getting promoted to the Premier Division in the spring.
You know, you really got to take your hat off to the coach for Atlanta City FC. His second half substitutions have been spot on the money, and it has allowed his team, who has been playing a man down for the last 20 minutes of this game, they have a chance to not only get back into it, but to tie it and maybe even get a win. They have all the momentum right now, and they have Clayton International FC pinned back on their heels.
Yeah, Atlanta City right now, they've just pinned their ears back, and they're just going forward with everything that they have. That's what we were talking about in this match, and what we love to see. These two teams, there's nothing fancy about it. It's just full on, foot on the floor, pedal to the metal. High press, both squads, even a man down, Atlanta City continues to press.
They want it more, Larry. Right now, Atlanta City FC want this game more than Clayton International FC, who still have a 2-1 lead. Let's see if they can still maintain that determination and continue this goal-scoring mechanisms. Here comes Brea Mejia, captain, Atlanta City, dispossessed right at the top of the 18. Referee sees a foul, calls a foul, free kick Atlanta City. We are in the 82nd minute. Here is an amazing opportunity for them to tie this game up and put themselves back into this one. And like we said, 2 yellow cards for defender Jadakis Sibiroyan about 15 minutes ago. Clayton's been playing a man up.
And this is one of the pieces of the game that I love to watch. I love to see teams get it right. And you saw that with the last goal by Atlanta City. Work on these free kick chances.
All right, so it looks like we're going to have a left foot free kick, about 25 out. The kick is away. He puts it low right at the wall. He's going to want that one back.
You see what he was trying to do there? He was trying to get cheeky and send it under the wall.
Nice ball out here to the left side from Geraldo. Finds the feet of Valverde, does a step over, plays it to the back post. He's got a white shirt! Atlanta City had another opportunity to put a second one on the board with a header at the back post, and it just goes wide left. Another goal kick for Clayton International, and they are pinned back on their heels once again because Atlanta City FC is knocking on the door. They are down, but they are not out.
You know they want that one back. Let's take another look at that. You see this ball. Who it is, once again, number 4, whips it into the box. All he had to do was put it in the right, just angle it, just direct it.
Mateo's going to want that one back for sure.
He tried to direct it. He tried to put a little too much power on it and ended up sending it to the side, out for a goal kick.
He had Eduardo Gomez on his heels. The goalkeeper didn't stand a chance. He just hit it with his head. It's still 2-1. We're in the 84th minute here in the UPSL Division 1. Valverde with another beautiful defensive stance. Jonathan Valverde all over the pitch tonight. Going to be a free kick for Clayton, as they are trying to let this time go down as quickly as possible. Atlanta City FC have become a completely different team here in the last 25 minutes. I'll mention again, amazing timing and amazing substitutions for the head coach of Atlanta City FC, who doesn't only have head coach duties for the U20s, but he's also the head coach of the Premier squad as well. So his determination for his club is just something that you can't deny. Shot on goal, and it just sails wide right, as Rafael Martinez wanted to put a third on the board for Clayton. Freddie Sanchez watches it sail wide right. It'll be another goal kick for Atlanta City.
You know, and this is one of those matches, you know, we go back to last week when you had Los Tigres in the Premier Division had 2 men up on Atlanta United, and they still lost that match. You don't want to see that for Clayton. They've been up for so long.
Just a bit offside right there. Clayton FC tried to find some space in behind Valverde, who was able to just maintain his position and force an offside call from the assistant referee. Free kick for City. About 6 minutes to go plus stoppage. They trail Clayton International FC 2-1. We are live here. If you're just now joining us, we are live. Riverdale, Georgia, Southern Crescent Stadium. Atlantic Soccer Media Group brings you some more UPSL Georgia action tonight. Division I action. Clayton International FC taking on Atlanta City FC. It's cold. It's dark. But we got a hell of a contest here. We got 5 minutes to go. Let's see who wants it more. Mejia with a one-touch clearance. Mejia in possession again. Dispossessed immediately, but won right back by Mateo, who tries to switch it over to the right side, but didn't get what he wanted. Clayton International able to get a clearance on the right side. They're trying to keep it in bounds. But Atlanta City continuously still want this more. Pushed off the ball easily there. And Clayton International are going to win a foul. Sloppy, silly foul by Atlanta City. Free kick for Clayton right at half field. And time's a ticking for Atlanta City. If they want to make something happen, they got to get on the front foot now.
And Drew, you see right now how much that missing man is hurting Atlanta City. They're not able to have everybody in the positions that they want, and there's times where that ball just kind of drifts away from them.
Valverde on a clearance. Didn't get what he wanted. Heavily pressured there by Martinez. Clayton International FC tried to do a nutmeg on Muran Mateo. He wasn't having none of it. Knocks it out. Throw in for Clayton. You wonder if there was some disciplinary action, maybe a little injury. Muran Mateo has completely changed the game tonight for Atlanta City, but he didn't come into the action until halfway through this second half.
And you see that Clayton International has had a substitute standing on the line ready to go now for almost 5 minutes.
Long ball attempt over to the right side, headed away by Clayton. Thought it would have been a high kick. Referee disagreed with me. Played back to the goalkeeper Gomez, who tries to get a clearance, puts a little backspin on it, and it's going to go out of bounds right in front of his bench. Throw in Atlanta. Time's a ticking for the visitors. Another substitution for Clayton. And if you want to give props to the Atlanta City coach, you have to for Clayton, because he's up a goal, trying his dangest to get these substitutions on and get that time away from the clock. And so far, so good. We have a caution issued to the substitute who just entered the field. He didn't enter the pitch when he was supposed to. And, you know, whether you like it or not, a lot of these officials take that serious. They are the ruler on the pitch. You do what they say.
Especially with the time so late in the game. You're looking at the 88th minute. You know, they want those guys on the field as soon as they call them on.
Yep.
At the same time, the man that he was replacing was taking his sweet time, number 16. He was taking his sweet time coming off the field.
Yes.
So I would have liked to have seen the yellow card actually issued to the man coming off more than the man coming on.
Oh, my gosh. A shot on goal by Captain Brian Mejia just goes over the crossbar as he had a chance to tie this game up with 2 minutes to go. He wanted it, and he wanted it bad. I don't know if you saw his reaction back home, but Brian Mejia has played a hell of a game for Atlanta City FC tonight.
We've been thoroughly entertained
Yes,
in this match.
absolutely.
It just goes to show you there are so many talented players here in the Georgia Conference. We've seen so many players throughout this conference that have been able to make their way up into the upper ranks. You know, the biggest name right now, Tony Tiente from Kalanji Pro Profile, now playing for Atlanta United's 2 team. Kalanji had multiple players that ended up making it up to a professional rank overseas.
Yeah, I mean, even Patrick Okonkwo himself for Kalanji Pro Profile time with the Atlanta United first team. So as this UPSL Georgia Premier Division and Division I action and seasons continue to go on, you'd really be surprised to not see more of these players moving on to bigger and better things, Lair.
There's another yellow.
That was a dangerous slide tackle right there. Player still down. Brian Mejia.
And
Did he just receive his second yellow
That's
as
a
well?
second yellow. That's a red. There it is. 2 red cards now for Atlanta City U20s. You see the frustration.
I'd like to see that slide tackle again. I was paying attention, but I wasn't paying attention that much to see if it was yellow card worthy. Did you check? Did you happen to see it, Larry? I thought he got ball.
To me, it was so quick I didn't even see it.
It was very fast. Referee still checking the injured player. Looks like it's Guillermo Fernandez Copy. He looks like to be okay. We're going to check it out again. Yeah, that's a yellow card. He came in late. Unfortunate for Mejia. He was just a second too late as he got no ball and all man. Free kick played in by Clayton. Headed away by Atlanta City. Right back to the feet of Clayton International FC. But Atlanta City able to get a big clearance. Referee.
Now it comes down to just how many minutes of stoppage time is center ref Horatio Oliveira going to. It looks like 5 is what I'm seeing, the AR.
I see 5 fingers up. Yeah, you know, Larry, this is the second week in a row we have had the pleasure to call a match where one team has received 2 red cards.
It's been red card central. Like you said, I'm going to say it's a red moon. I'll stick with that. But it also means that you've got teams that are putting it all.
Valverde on another big clearance.
Now this really, really hampers any possibility that Atlanta City has a form of attack.
Lots of red jerseys inside the 18. They want a third goal. Clayton International had a great opportunity for a header goal at, I don't want to say the far post, kind of right in the center of the pitch, but he just heads it right into the grass.
It looked like almost as if he wanted to dive for the header a la Van Persie, but his body said no.
Yeah, it ain't happening. Shot on goal attempt. Didn't get anywhere what he wanted, did Rafael Martinez. It's going to be a goal kick as the time ticks away for Atlanta City. They trail Clayton International FC 2-1 here in stoppage time. We are live, Southern Crescent Stadium here in Riverdale, Georgia. I am Drew Dickinson alongside Larry Weaver. Atlantic Soccer Media Group is going to round out their season, their regular season, right after the conclusion of this matchup. But please stay tuned because next week we come hot and heavy with the first round of the Premier Playoffs. Atlanta Rovers FC, Georgia FC, Vinotinto Atlanta, FC Birmingham, and of course, the division winners, Atlanta United Academy, with a first-round bye, along with LGSA. Finished second place in the division. They also receive a first-round bye. Going to be very exciting week next week.
And like we talked about earlier, just to finish off for Division I for this week, like I said, Dalton United beat North Georgia 7-0. FC Birmingham's U23s beat Club the Strongest 2 team 5-1. And Kalanji Pro Profiles U19s beat Atlanta City U17s 6-1.
Do you see any goal scorer names for Birmingham U23s by any chance, or just a score? I'm curious because I would like to know if Mr. Giancarlo Bustamante got any minutes in putting the back of the net. He is a first-team player from FC Birmingham who was demoted down to their U23s, and we had the pleasure of calling one of their games a few weeks ago, and we had bad information before the game, and ended up being Mr. Bustamante who put a couple goals in the back of the net for the U23s. What a player. The Mexican kid is on the prowl to become a really good player. Just needs to figure out a way to get his emotions in check, Larry.
That is very, very true. Unfortunately, we do not have the goal scorers for that
That's
match.
all right. That's all right. Just curious. Because it will be a player to look out for if Coach Goldfarb decides to keep him, or if he decides to move on. He has a bright future in whatever division or league of soccer he decides to play. Selfishly, I'd like to see him remain in UPSL Georgia, but it is what it is. And that's going to do it for Clayton International FC versus Atlanta City. The ball game is going to come to a conclusion with Clayton International victory. They put it on a two-man down Atlanta City FC for about 10 minutes. You know, Larry, Atlanta City FC coach made some great substitutions here in the second half. It really turned the game around, pinned Clayton FC back on their heels, were able to find a goal, just weren't able to find enough more to tie this game up or even win it, as Atlanta City FC fall to Clayton International 2-1 tonight, man.
And they can't really say anything wrong. They blame themselves. They had the opportunities to tie this match. They just weren't able to do so. Unfortunately for them, they go down again. This time this was retribution for Clayton, since they lost to them just a few weeks ago 2-1. When you look at Clayton, like I said, next week on the 20th, they will take on Atlanta Rovers reserves. So that will be an amazing match to watch, because that is pretty much on the line. If Clayton can come up with some points, they will find themselves promoted to the Premier Division. When we look at the possibilities for this Atlanta City U20 squad, they have one more match on the 19th, next Saturday, against Kalonji Pro Profiles U23. So that'll be a tough match for them as well.
That's going to do it for us this evening. And that's going to do it for Atlantic Soccer Media Group on the regular season here in the UPSL Georgia divisions. Please stay tuned. We got playoff action coming at you live next week from Silverback Stadium and from Lawson Field in Birmingham, Alabama. For Atlantic Soccer Media Group, I am Drew Dickinson. He is Larry Weaver, signing off. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching the Atlantic Soccer Media Group's coverage of UPSL Soccer.